What's up, guys? Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to talk about the 4 ways that you can get a tax sale overage list. Okay. And just as a reminder, guys, you can view a ton of free content on the YouTube channel. That's Nick Fullmer Overage Syndicate. We also have the podcast. Okay. There's all sorts of different places. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. So, 4 ways to get tax sale overage list. Let's dive right into it, as well as the pros and cons of each one. Number one, you guys can simply Google or get lists that are published online. Okay. So let me show you, if you're watching this video, I will show you real quickly where can you go? What is an example of a list that you can get online? Okay. If you just Google tax sale overage list or excess funds list, you will find an example of lists that you can use for your benefit. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen here if you're watching the video. And we're on Google. So I'm just going to type in tax sale overage list. Okay. And here's one actually local to me. And you see right here, it says May tax sale. Okay. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can go about getting this list, okay? Sometimes they have it posted right here for you. So they actually have a tab that says excess funds, and then you can go and click on a list, and it'll pull up something that looks something like this right here, okay? So what we see here, we've got this report of funds that were generated from the tax sale, and it tells us, okay, how much is the amount due to the owner? So there's a lot of little ones here, $1,000, $3,000. But then there are some good ones, like here's a $32,000 overage. Here's a $129,000 overage. So these lists online, you can see, are readily available. Now, let's say that your county doesn't have a list. Here's a pro tip. If you can at least get a list of the results of the tax sale, that is almost just as good. Okay, so here is an example from a tax sale that happened a couple of years ago. And you can see here that it's got the opening bid as well as the bid amount. And so, especially with tax sales, guys, you can use those numbers to determine if there is an overage. Okay, so this property, for example, sold for $121,900. Okay, now if we subtract the opening bid of $6,692, then we see that there's an overage of $115,208. Now there are some other fees here of about $12,000, so I'm going to subtract those as well. Okay, and that's going to give us an approximate overage of $102,978. Okay, so if your county that you're looking in doesn't have an actual list online, but they have a results list, okay, with the amount that the property sold and the opening bid, that is just as good, okay, than an actual excess funds list. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. That is the first way to get lists, get them online. The second method of getting lists is you have to ask for them. Okay, there are some counties that they will just not have it posted online. So you're going to have to contact somebody and ask them for a list of excess funds or of the tax sale results. Okay, so that can be a simple email request. Maybe you have to write a letter. Maybe you have to submit what's called a Freedom of Information Act. Depends on the county. Some counties, they have a nice system where you can fill out a form online, submit it, and they'll email you your results or your requests. Okay. Some are a little more difficult. Maybe you have to pay for a request. Okay. It just depends on the county that you're working in. But simply requesting excess funds lists via email or calling them up, or filing what's called a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, that is just as effective, okay, as just getting lists online. And that is oftentimes necessary. Yeah, you have to ask in order to get the list because not all counties post their lists online, okay? So that is the second method, is simply requesting a list. Now, the third method is you can buy a list. Okay, there are providers out there who will sell you lists of overages. Okay, or they'll sell you lists of foreclosure auction results or tax sale auction results. Okay, plenty of people that do that. If you're a student of my program, okay, you have access to lists inside of the course. You should probably know that. If you don't, now you do. For example, if you log into the course, you go to the curriculum, okay, scroll down to section 8, which is where all the bonuses are, and you're going to click on this tab right here that says $1 Million Lead Vault. Inside of that tab, there's going to be a spreadsheet that looks like this. And here's a spreadsheet of leads. You can see when it was updated last. You can see the overage amounts, the homeowner's name, the address. Okay, here's a list that is just available to students of the program as a benefit to being a student of the program. And if you scroll down here, you can see how much overages are on this one list. Oh, well, this list has $3.7 million. Okay, so maybe you were aware of that, maybe you weren't, but if you're a member of the program, okay, you have access to lists of overages at no extra cost. That's just a benefit of being in the program. So utilize it, okay? Obviously, I would love for you to utilize this list and then send me the deal that we can partner on so we can help each other out, okay? So that's another way is you can buy lists. If you're a member of the course, you have access to lists of leads at no additional cost to you, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, let's go over the final one, the fourth method, which is create your own lists. This is my favorite, and this is where you build out your own lists. And how do you do this? You do it by monitoring tax sale auctions, foreclosure auctions, and you can gather the data sometimes online, maybe in person, and you can create your own lists of tax sale overage leads or mortgage overage leads. And that is extremely valuable, okay? So let's finish off this video by going over what are the pros and cons of each method, okay? So let's go back to method 1, which is just getting lists online. The pro, very easy to do, very fast. You can Google a list, pull it up, good to go. The con, those lists are going to have a lot of people working them. They are going to be the most competitive lists that you work, okay? Because they are so easy to access, a lot of people will be working those lists. So that is a major con. Method number 2, requesting lists. A pro is that these are, because you have to actually do some work and actually ask for the list, this is going to eliminate a large portion of people that don't want to do that work, okay? And so these lists are less competitive. So that's a pro because you actually have to request. The con is sometimes you have to pay for them, depending on how much information, and it can be much more time consuming, okay? So like if you're getting a list online, very fast, right? But if you've got to request for it, they have a certain amount of days that they can take to answer your request. And so the con on this is they can take a while to get a response back. Number 3, buy lists, okay? Pro, the work is done for you. So you don't even have to ask for a list. You just buy it, you have access to it. You have access to leads immediately, so it's fast. That's a pro. Con, well, it costs you money, it costs money to buy the list, and that's a con. And finally, the fourth method, create your own lists. The pro here is that if you know how to create your own list, which is something that I teach you in section 2 of the program, these are the least competitive. If you know how to source your own leads, you can create your own lists, and because that takes extra work and effort, these are the least competitive lists, okay? The con, though, is it takes time and it takes a lot more effort and work than simply buying a list or getting a list online. So that is the con, is it's the work involved. Okay. So that is it for today, guys. I hope that was helpful for you. We went over 4 different ways that you can get tax sale overage lists. We covered the pros and cons of each. Okay. If you guys want to learn more about how to create your own list, how to source your own deals, things like that, check out the program at school.overagecourse.com. If you have questions, post them down below in the comments if you're watching this video. And guys, appreciate you watching, appreciate you listening. If you're brand new to overages, there's a free training that you can also look and check out at overagesyndicate.com. Appreciate you watching. Hope that was helpful for you.